Hi everyone. In this segment, I'd like to give you some practical and helpful information. Now, some of the things that I tell you will seem intuitively obvious, but I want to put them out there so that you can think about the way I do things to see if it would help you or to see how you could do it differently. The goal, of course, is to make caregiving for our loved one as easy as possible on us and on them. So the first thing I'd like to point out, I mentioned in a previous video that I had installed a wall in our new house. And here it is. I had a friend who is a master carpenter help me just frame it out. No intention of sheetrocking it or finishing it. Just going to leave it like this because it's just a safety barrier. And, at this point in time, Stephanie's no longer mobile, and I probably could take it down, but I'll continue to leave it up for now. It is convenient, but I would like to take it down at some point in time. Now, if you can see down here, this is a child gate. I use it for the dogs. Now, I said dogs plural. Dogs will come later. We only have one dog now, and there's a specific reason for that. So I had a kitty gate at the top of the basement stairs, and this is what she pushed through twice in one day, and I caught her as she was falling. Here's some documents that I maintain for Stephanie's care. This first one is some of the important stuff. I call it need to know. It just pretty much covers the things like when you stand her up, make sure that she's balanced before you start walking with her, or watch her feet because they can get crossed up, or how to take her to the potty. The next document is her current med list. And notice up in the upper right-hand corner, there is a date. And I try to maintain these documents as accurate as possible in case I get called away for something or I have an emergency that I need to take care of and someone needs to come into the house that does not normally take care of Stephanie. Also, I tend to go see my in-laws about once a year, and during that time frame we have a friend from Missouri that comes and stay with her, and she can use these as reference while she's staying with her. I also provide them to her early before she comes so that she can read through them and see what has changed. So again, this is the med sheet, and then here is Stephanie's routine. It starts off with power of attorneys and IDs, where you can find them, who to call should there be any issues. And then I start with the morning and I work all the way through to her bedtime routine. And this last document is just a quick reference, single page summation of Stephanie's routine. Something else I wanted to mention is the list that I keep for daily activities. It is a repetitious list. It's the things that I do every day, and it helps me to remember that I've got to do those things. I also set myself alarms. It can be everything from making sure that I have given Stephanie her meds in the afternoon to feeding the dog. As a caregiver, you will forget things. And this has helped me because there have been times when I have forgotten to feed the dog. I don't normally forget anything as important as giving Stephanie her afternoon meds, but feeding the dog is also very important. My list itself, I keep on my phone, and I can put a check in the block or I can delete it from the list for that day. And again, these are the repetitious things you do on a daily basis. Laundry, garbage, Stephanie's meds, going to get the mail. We have a lot of mail theft, so I'm pretty strict about going to get the mail on a daily basis. But I check these things off, and it also shows me basically where I am during the day. And the one thing that both of those things do for me, the lists and the alarms, is it provides me with some assurance that I'm not going to miss anything, that I am going to remember to do things. Now, there are some things, of course, that I just don't forget. like when my daughter-in-law or my daughter are coming over so that I can go out and get groceries. However, there are things that I do forget quite often, and caregiver brain is a real thing where you feel like you might be exhibiting some decline. Stephanie had the same concern when she was taking care of my father. He was a dementia patient, and she felt like she might be declining cognitively. So I do these things. As a matter of fact, when I was trying to film a video a few minutes ago, one of the alarms went off to remind me to give Stephanie her meds, which I've already done. So that's a good thing. Okay, so now we're in the bedroom. And what I wanted to show you is that I have a couple of cameras on a wall-mounted shelf. One of the cameras is a baby monitor, and I used to use that quite a bit. However, the resolution is not great. And the other one is a high-resolution interior security camera where I can watch Stephanie. I can watch her on an iPad. I can watch her on my iPhone. There have been a couple of times when I've been away and I've tried to call someone here at the house and couldn't get through to anybody. And I actually used the two-way function to ask them if they would find their phone and pick up their phone. That worked really well. So I'm going to turn the camera around now. And what I want to do is I want to show you a couple of things. So this is the picture that you see on the iPad. Now there is a full color day mode and there is a nighttime mode. I normally put the camera into nighttime mode when I put her to sleep, even if it's lighter outside, because I can get better resolution via that camera. And while we're here, the other thing I wanted to show you is, come out a little bit. This is one of the bed pads that I use for Stephanie. This one is rather large. It's square. It covers a good portion of the bed where she sleeps in case she has any accidents at night. And I just got that off of Amazon. I also use other bed pads on the couch in the living room in case, again, she has an accident while she's sitting on the couch. We're now in the master bedroom water closet where the toilet is. And two quick things I wanted to show you. First off, this is a motion detector with a remote speaker. I used this when Stephanie was still mobile. Whether it was during the day or at night, if she came in here, it would indicate to me whether or not she might have to go potty. So I would hear it and be able to address her needs. Now, specifically at night, I would plug the speaker in close to the bed on my side so that I could hear it go off and immediately get up in case I was sleeping through her getting out of bed. And there you go. You can hear the chime, and it has multiple different chimes. It has volume control, and so I would turn it down quite low at night, but to a degree that I could still see it. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, and the chime's going to continue to go off, is this little black dot on the back of the toilet lid is actually an LED light. Now, there are, of course, other things you can get. They make a motion sensing LED light that you can hang underneath the toilet seat itself. But I found this to be useful. It will illuminate underneath the toilet seat and into the bowl, and right back there where I can see everything, especially at night. One thing that I've learned over time is that repetition is a good thing. Doing things constantly the same way helps Stephanie to the cognitive degree of decline that she currently is, to at least spark something that will let her know what we're about to do. Like every time that I pick her up off the couch or I get her out of bed, I say the same thing. When I greet her in the morning, I say the same thing. When I sit her on the potty, I say the same thing. you can see how this goes. But from start of the day to finish of the day, I use as much repetition as possible. And I also ask questions. Now, there was a point in time at which I could not ask Stephanie questions at all because it would completely confuse her. And that is, of course, not uncommon at all in dementia patients, not just Alzheimer's, but dementia as a whole. But what I found over time is I could use it in my repetition. Like when I get her up in the mornings, I will always ask her, "Are you my dear heart?" Sometimes I'll say, "Yes, you are." But are you my dear heart? Are you the love of my life? Are you my sunshine? And then when we come out, we're greeted by the dog. "Look, your puppy has come to say good morning. Do you remember the puppy that chose you? It's Grace. And do you remember that you named her Grace? And I thought it was the most beautiful name ever. Thank you." And then I give her a kiss on the cheek. So repetition and questions, I use them in conjunction with one another. And at the state of decline that Stephanie is, it's perfectly fine. Again, you have to judge your LO and determine whether or not questions can be part of just normal daily dialogue. But at this point, again, I'm not expecting an answer. I'm just using it in the repetition as dialogue. A couple other things that I wanted to mention is YouTube. Now, yes, I'm putting in a plug for YouTube. This is not a monetized YouTube channel. I don't make any money from this, so this is not, I'm not paid to tell you this. But I love YouTube. It's a great thing for me to put on during the day on the TV, background music for Stephanie. I can find playlists, I can create my own playlist, etc., etc. Most of you know about YouTube. However, if you don't have the premium version, I would encourage you to get it. So for less than $20 a month, you don't have to deal with the ads. You don't have to deal with videos stopping after a certain length of time. The playlist will continue. The playlist will sometimes, at the end of the playlist, of course, it will stop, and then you can go back and put on another playlist or replay the playlist, things like that. A lot of times I find praise and hymn playlists that are current music. It could be contemporary Christian. It could be traditional hymns. It depends. Usually in the morning, something a little bit softer. Throughout the day, usually something with a little bit more rhythm like the contemporary Christian. The other thing that I wanted to mention is fidgeting. Now, it is very helpful and stress reducing for dementia patients to fidget. For Stephanie, we found that she liked zippers. I had this bag that had some cough drops in it, and she wanted to carry it around, and she would zip it back and forth all day long as she was wandering around. And so those didn't last very long, each one of them. And after I went through 10 or 15, my daughter made us some zippers that would last much, much longer. And they were better quality. They satisfied Stephanie's anxiety as she was walking around. And she called these her work. So she would walk around just doing this all day long. Sometimes I used it to figure out where she was in the house because I could listen out for it and know that she was back in the bedroom or know that she was in the kitchen. It was very helpful for me too. But this is just a larger zipper that was easier to handle. And this one in particular was far more durable and easier for her to zip back and forth across. Earlier in this segment, I mentioned caregiver brain. It's also called caregiver brain fog. It's a point at which you feel like you have problems concentrating or problems remembering things. And this is one of the indicators to let you know that you might be approaching some form of burnout in your caregiving process. So please take care of yourself, whether it's going on a walk, going to the gym, sitting down reading a book. And I've got a good book for you. Remember, I recommended the 36-hour day, and that is the caregiver's atlas for direction in taking care of a loved one and taking care of yourself. So please, if you feel like you have some brain fog going on, take care of it and take care of yourself. Because if you don't, then it's going to be harder to take care of your loved one. And that could also give you some health concerns, not just brain fog, but physical issues that may need to be addressed by a physician. So, whereas I said it kind of flippantly before, pay attention, because we don't want you to burn out while you're taking care of your loved one. I'm going to go ahead and end here. I'll provide some more practical and helpful information in future videos as the need arises or as a particular topic is spoken about. May the Lord give you strength on your journey. I'll see you again soon.